welcome to our new show, Mingling with the Municipality. I'm Jordan Hertner, and over the next few months on Shaw TV, we'll be sitting down with municipal leaders talking about issues that affect our community. Joining me today is Mayor Melissa Blake. How are you?
Hi, I'm well today, Jordan.
That's great. So first we're going to talk about a hot button topic, downtown area arena. So what stage are we in for the downtown arena project?
Thank you. Hot button is a good word, smoking hot, and we are rolling right along. In fact, we've got a tender that closed on our Sport and Entertainment District proposal that was the 23rd of January. We're going through the process right now, having technical evaluations done in the depth and study that's required before it comes to council. When council gets their hands on it, then we'll make a public decision about what the outcome is going to be on that one. But it's not the only game in town. We've actually got some impressive work going on our Jubilee Center, is what they call it. So in the street off of Franklin and Hardin, you're going to see a brand new urban type park. Yep. Wonderful place where we were holding some of the farmers markets last year, and we'll see that being reinvented for the future, only much, much better. So it's a really exciting time, and that doesn't end there. Of course, our city center is it's going to become the pride and joy, I think, of most of the citizens in this region. And one of those things that we had neglected in our past but we're embracing now is the waterfront. So we have the Snai water body that connects to the Heritage River, the Clearwater River, and that entire stretch that goes down in through to waterways is in fact slated for some impressive zonal type developments. So you're going to have a pedestrian walkway, boardwalk that goes all the way down. It will be a fundamental piece of work because it also offers some of that flood protection for the downtown as we go into the future as well. So it'll be built to a higher standard. But when you look at what's happening sort of at the forefront, you've got that Snai Park that we call it. We just hosted winter play on it. And now what you're going to see are things like the incredible beach volleyball, the marina that's going to be there. You've got the opportunity for buildings and parks, and there's a dog park I hear that could be going into that area. These are all the things that are starting to come together and happen through the course of this year.
That gets me excited. I like beach volleyball, so there you go. The next question is coming to us from Amanda with the Fort McMurray today. She said, why did council choose to expropriate land for the arena rather than build it in the south end of town where there's unused space?
And that's a question we've heard from many people, so Amanda's really asking a great thing. And the reason that I give from my perspective as a decision maker, when we went through the city center redevelopment plan and we had all that citizen consultation, we had earmarked a spot that we thought would be part of the core business district that would be a catalyst for all kinds of other things to come in. So, okay, we create a sport and entertainment facility, but it isn't an island. It's going to stimulate the kinds of development that would go around that area. So when it comes to the distribution of where things could go, yeah, we could go put it up on a hill or we could put it at the south end, but what happens is you take away the magnetism of something that can host as many people as what the sport and entertainment facility would. So try to reimagine what you've experienced in other communities and the successes that they may have experienced. I think of Edmonton, we're pretty familiar with that. You go to Rexall and there's the Fireside and a hotel across the street, sure enough. But when they make their decision in the city, what they're doing is taking that arena, they're making a focal point in the downtown, and you're already seeing in Edmonton some of the developments that are coming along in conjunction with that aren't at the municipal expense, but they're there to capitalize on the opportunity of having a large crowd. So you want a 24/7 experience for people where they can live, walk, work, play, stay, and do all of that in the downtown. So location, location, location it's an important thing to me, and it's appropriate through the plan. And we'll see where it goes through the discussion process with the rest of council.
All right, the next question we have is a video message from Thomas. Thomas, take it away.
Hi, my name is Thomas Bailey. Just have one question for the mayor. With this new talk of the stadium downtown, just wondering what they're going to do for all the parking. Is it going to cause chaos, or do they have something planned out?
Well, in the talks of the City Centre Core Business District, as I said, there's a lot of change that's slated to happen. Yes, parking is going to be a challenge. Today, parking is a challenge. But when you think about the kinds of initiatives that can help to offset that, number one, we can't all expect big dually trucks to get free parking in front of every facility they go to. So you're probably going to see a shift, especially in the Core Business District, where parking is going to be at a premium and you're going to end up paying a price for it. So that's what you experience in places like downtown Calgary or Edmonton. It doesn't happen everywhere, but when you've got a high development or high density area, you compete for that precious resource. That will also mean that we have to be prepared. So there are very likely going to be private development that will include parkades, and they will take a profit from that as you pay for the price to keep your I guess, independence with your vehicles. You're going to find more people, I think, joining into a vehicle. So even now, if I go to Keanu and I know I'm paying $2 for parking, I don't let my husband go in his own car. I make him get in my car, and we don't meet there. We meet at home first.
Carpool.
So there's more of that you'll probably see and experience. And even when I go to McDonald Island on a busy trade show weekend, I don't even try to park on the island. I get on the transit and I take that very comfortable ride over on a whoosh bus, and that's how I manage my transportation. I think that as we evolve the project, we're going to see some of the things coming to the forefront. The municipality has plans for parkades. There is the opportunity to reuse some of the space. So if the offices are occupied by day, the nighttime, those spaces become available as well. And so it's about reducing, reusing, and recycling in the vehicle context in some extent.
That's great. So next we're going to move on to commercial and retail space. When are we getting more commercial retail space, i.e. Costco's and all of that fun stuff that, you know, everyone's waiting for?
Never soon enough. I have to say, whoever asked this question is thinking the way I think just about every day. And inevitably, we have an incredible community filling up with people every more so by the days that pass. And their incomes are pretty high on the disposable scale. So I will tell you that we are fundamentally underrepresented on the opportunity for commercial and retail and even businesses, restaurants and things like that. The challenge has been land and not having enough of it. So the question is very direct. When are we getting more? We're getting more when we have land that opens up. You've got Sailing Creek that's under development that will have some commercial opportunity in there. You have also got 51 acres that was part of a land for transportation swap that we made with the province. So now I get to have the blame for some of the transportation and construction issues, but I also get the benefit of having 51 acres of commercial that will happen up on the North Parsons area. Those are a little bit further out. I am adamant that we get this Costco type development or the big box retail, and that is probably likely to happen as you go down the bottom of the North Parsons Hill. The interchange work will be happening this summer and be completed, I think, by 2015 or 16, if I remember right. But that offers an incredible opportunity that we're putting a lot of pressure on the government of Alberta to actually get out into the public for tender so that we can see those things come to fruition. So you want to see a marry up of all of these things at about the same time. The rest of it, again, the only comment I have is that it's private development, so all I can do is inspire the land, have the zoning, and make sure the accessibility is there for it.
There you go. All right, Doug's at McDonald Island gathering a few more questions. Go ahead, Doug.
Thanks, Jordan. I'm down at McDonald Island Park, and we're trying to poll some residents here. Robin has a great question for me. She's just curious why it takes so long for side roads to get plowed.
And it's a very timely question. I was so delighted to come home and finally see mine done just the other day. But frankly, we have a very solid set of priorities that we work on. So if you can imagine where that would be, you start with your main urban corridors. So if you go through Franklin Avenue, that's a high volume traffic road. When you go to Thickwood, Confederation, that boulevard that goes through those two subdivisions, Abbasan Drive, Beacon Hill Drive, these are all things that are dominant users. And then you've got the secondary roads or the collector routes that will have bus lanes, and that's our bus stops and transportation. They get the next priority. And then you go into the residential street, which is a little bit lower still. So we expect to be able to have the highest volume of traffic movement accommodated first. We are triggered also in the snow clearing policy by the amount of snowfall. So if you have an excess, I think, of 10 centimeters of snowfall at any given time, we try to get to everybody again. But the residential seats, when you have that 10 centimeter base that's built up, that's when we trigger off the plow. Now, that said, people are certainly expressing their concerns, and we as an elected body are sharing those concerns with our citizens. And what we're looking at is an opportunity for a review of the snow clearing policy, and we'll be looking for some feedback from our residents. So I always say, don't hesitate to call in your concerns. We need to know. Frankly, we know pretty well this year.
Yes.
But we also need to have some intelligent thinking around what is it that we can do differently and better.
So is there a list of when certain areas get cleared, and is there a website people can check out when that happens?
Yeah, we usually will have that posted on the municipal website. It's one of the key issues through the winter, and so we put the number included for our roads hotline. It applies in the summer as well, but snow clearing in the winter, and that number is 743-7859.
Perfect, it's that easy. Next we have a video question from Sarah. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm the teen librarian at Fort McMurray Public Library. I just had a question about arts focus in the Wood Buffalo community. Just wondering if there's going to be any future focus to dedication towards arts programs for teens, tweens, as well as adults in the future.
Oh, arts is going through a total renaissance from what I can tell. We have some incredible things that have been happening over the past few years. So there's the performing arts, there's the musical arts, there is the actual arts where people use their hands and they sculpt and they paint and they do some great stuff. The municipality has actually created an artist in residency program where we're able to bring a talented artist to the community, let them see and experience and do their craft with us, but we don't just give it to them for nothing. We make them interface with our citizens who share those interests as well. The McDonald Island Art Gallery hallway, I think, has been a tremendous success with a rotating view, a visual display of things that are available from residents in our region, which is pretty outstanding. You've got just recently Les Mis on the Keanu stage, so if you're a performing artist, that's something that has always been available, but I'm finding a lot greater appetite from our citizens to get involved. So I think there's a real renaissance, and as we look to things like the public art program, we are looking forward to seeing some of those physical structures that will happen throughout our downtown. In particular, when you look at facilities like the new airport terminal, they have invested a lot in being able to make sure that they have that there. So I will say there is a ton of stuff getting connected to it. Again, I would check with the arts and culture coordinator here at the Wood Buffalo building. So there is a culture blog that exists as well. And if I can say anything, bloggers know more about everything than anybody else for the most part. So check out this blog.
This next one is a fun question, and we'll head down to McDonald Island.
Hi, my question has to do with street naming. And as you know, we have Graham Killick, and he's an Olympian from Fort McMurray. And do you feel that people have to be dead to have a street named after them, or they can be alive? And for the record, I think we have a lot of young people in McMurray and a lot of people that have contributed to Fort McMurray, and I think they don't have to be dead to have streets named after them.
Love this viewpoint. Seriously, one of the things I remember hearing really early on in my elected life was that to have a street named after you, you had to be dead or out of town. Like, well, how does that benefit people? But the point that she makes is very well taken. We do have a community identification committee that has an inventory of anybody that the community prefers to nominate for these street names. It's tricky business naming streets, so they try to coordinate either the alliteration point, the first letter of the names, or they look at subdivision themes where they will go with a place like the Flower subdivision, forget what it's called, or Eagle Ridge with all the birds, and so you can see sort of theming that will happen. But I absolutely agree. Somebody like Graham Killick has done us so proud by being in the Olympics and by not forgetting his community and very proudly putting it on display. So we love Graham, and we'd love to have a street named after him, but it'll go through a committee. So make sure that you take out the nomination forms and make sure that they're thinking about that in a timely fashion too.
Love that question. It was so interesting. It was great. Before we go, is there anything new and exciting that you wanted to talk about?
You know, there is so much excitement throughout the region, but the first thing I want to comment on is that we just recently opened a phenomenal recreation center in the community of Anzac. And so over the course of the weekend, we had this brilliant new facility. A lot of people come out to celebrate that. But when you think about our outreach into the rural area, we're not just the urban center of Fort McMurray. We are the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo. So for me, always exciting to be able to bring some quality assets to our rural residents, because they are just an important part of our community as anywhere else, but they're challenged perhaps by time and distance, and so by being able to offer those great quality amenities in the community, I find very important. So where I say the excitement never ends, it never ends. When I look forward, we've got the incredible opportunity for the Leading the North Summit happening here in Fort McMurray with some outstanding speakers that will be a part of that lineup. You've also got the terminal opening that we'll be celebrating out at the Fort McMurray Airport. And it's not just an opening with a ribbon cutting, thank you very much. It's an entire weekend with an air show and a gala and all kinds of things. So for folks just looking up in the month of beginning part of June, you'll see a tremendous opportunity that happens here for excitement as well.
And it's ever changing, that's for sure, Fort McMurray. Well, thanks for joining us. That is the end of our show today. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us once again.
Thank you, Jordan. It's a pleasure.
Perfect. We hope you've enjoyed our first episode of Mingling with the Municipality. We want you to get involved, so please tweet us your questions at ShawTV4MC using the hashtag AskShawYMM. I'm Jordan Hertner, and thanks for joining us.